Be shallow with the driver. If you're steep with the driver, if you have a lot of verticals with the driver, that's when you hit the big balloons out to the right, or you hit big bowl cuts, all sorts of different stuff. Okay, so we definitely want that axis tilt to be a little bit greater with the driver. Hey, welcome back. This is part 2 of our 3-part series on covering verticals, horizontals. All right, and today we're going to talk about some of our horizontals. Again, if you're brand new to this series, make sure you watch our first video on verticals. So if you're somebody who tends to slice the golf ball, you want to kind of catch that, and you'll see that some of the mistakes that you make that cause you to slice it is because you have too many verticals in your golf swing. And so today we're going to cover shallows, which if you add more shallows than you have verticals in your golf swing, then you might even find yourself starting to draw the golf ball for the first time in your life. All right, so make sure you check out the first video. Stay tuned today because there's lots of different ways to add shallows in your golf swing, or horizontals, whichever you want to call it. All right, to make you able to hit the golf ball better. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do so. Hit the bell button. You get all our future videos that we have coming out, and give us a thumbs up if you have enjoyed the content of these videos or any past videos. So I'm going to try to go in the same sequence as I did last video as far as where we start off with. I might be a little bit off, but so if you want to have a swing that has a little bit more horizontals or shallows, the first thing you need to do is let your feet kind of flare open. All right, that helps you rotate more. All right, which is a shallowing move or a horizontal move. All right. So simply opening your feet is a simple, I don't know if you want to call it a trick, but it's a simple trick. Help you turn more, help you add a little bit more of the shallows into your golf swing. All right, now when you grip the golf club, a shallowing grip is basically what we call a strong grip. So left hand is a little bit more on top and right hand is a little bit more underneath, okay? That would be considered more of a shallowing grip versus the opposite, which was a steep grip, or the vertical grip was more of that weak grip that when you hold on to it. All right, personally, I would just like your grip to be neutral. I don't want you to make a whole bunch of different grips just based on what you're trying to do. I think if you have a very neutral grip and you add some of the swing motions to help you stay on a very even plane, all right, that is what I would go towards. The third shallowing move or horizontal move is what you do with your arms. All right, so when you set up to it, all right, instead of your arms going up, they're going to feel like they get deeper. All right, so you'll see a lot of tour players, their hands actually look like at the top they're kind of center foot. All right, some get a little bit more out in front, and then there's some who get a little bit deeper. If you're somebody who struggles with too many verticals, I want you to really feel like you turn around yourself a lot, right? So that also works with the fact that our feet are turned open, so it helps us turn, helps us get the club deeper. I promise you automatically, if you get the club deeper, that you are going to hit the ball better. Your slices will become less, right? Because a lot of us, when we just lift our arms up, we chop our head off. But if you get it deeper and then you pull down, it tends to stay deeper, which is going to be a huge benefit to help you hit the ball better. So now we're going to talk about the fourth move. What do your wrists do? Okay, just to recap, vertical tends to set the wrist this way. All right, our horizontal swing is going to set the wrist more in this fashion. All right, so it's going to set it more in that fashion rather than kind of setting it up and down. It's going to set it back. So when you do that, make sure it kind of matches the toe line. The face might feel a little bit more closed than normal, but that's okay. All right, so that is going to be our fourth horizontal that we have. Our fifth horizontal is our axis tilt. So once again, primary axis tilt, and then from face on to secondary axis tilt. So if you want to add some shallows, some horizontals in your golf swing, you got to add some axis tilt to it. So basically, run that club right up the middle of your shirt, tilt, and when it touches the inside of your leg, there's your axis tilt that you need to have. Okay, this might feel kind of funny. When you're adding axis tilt, make sure it doesn't turn into like a side bend or just leaning weight on your right side. All right, so it is, pelvis will move forward just a little bit, and then your body will move backwards. All right, so feel like your spine stays straight. Weight stays evenly distributed when you do this. All right, this is going to help you shout with the golf club. Driver is a huge thing when it comes to axis tilt. Irons is a little bit, driver tends to be more, all right? Because we want to be shallow with the driver. If you're steep with the driver, if you have a lot of verticals with the driver, that's when you hit the big balloons out to the right, or you hit big bowl cuts, all sorts of different stuff, okay? So we definitely want that axis a little bit greater with the driver than what it is with the irons. The next shallow or horizontal move is going to be what you do with your shoulders. So we talked about this in the last video. All right, we want your shoulders, instead of being square, if you want to have somebody who hits more of a draw, you got to close those shoulders. So that right shoulder needs to feel like it's pulled back, right? It needs to feel like everything is kind of aimed out to the right with your shoulders. That's going to help you turn deeper, right? And it's going to help you have another horizontal, add another horizontal to your golf swing, okay? So those are basically all the horizontals. You can add a little bit more. There's a few more in there, but this should cover enough. This should help you kind of identify, man, I've got way too many verticals, I don't have enough horizontals, or I have too many horizontals, not enough verticals. If you have too many horizontals, you're going to be a person who blocks the ball or hits a block with a big old hook, or you just hit big old hooks all day long, because then you have too much going around you, and you need to add some of the verticals into your golf swing to help you kind of even out your swing plane. And finally, we didn't talk about this in either video. If you have clubs that are too short, it's going to be more vertical. If you have clubs that are too long, it's going to be more horizontal. So that is where club fitting kind of comes into play. I didn't talk about this either, but if you stand close to it, all right, it's going to be more vertical. If you stand really far from it, it's going to tend to be more horizontal. Okay, so I will put a little note of basically some of the videos that I've done in the past on how far to stand from it. I haven't done a whole lot of club fitting videos because that's not really my specialty, but there's lots of places out there, especially if you live down here in Arizona. You got Cool Clubs, Hot Sticks, True Specs. You can go to PGA Tour Superstore and Golf Galaxy, all sorts of different places to get fit. Just make sure they kind of understand, they know what they're doing. If you're going to just a straight club fitter, they're going to know what they're doing. So thanks for watching. We're going to do our next video. We'll release it here soon on how do we add these together.